Good morning, y'all. How's everybody doing today? It is Monday and the start of a brand new week, and golly gee, it is cold where I am. Can you believe the feels like temperature where I live in Florida, for crying out loud, is going to be down to about 9 tomorrow night? If you live in this area along the Florida Panhandle or the southern Alabama or Mississippi coast, be careful. And to my friends in Texas who are dealing with lots of ice and very cold temperatures, please be careful. My thoughts and prayers are with you. This morning I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the season of Lent because it begins Wednesday, on Ash Wednesday. What, if anything, does Lent mean to you? Well, I grew up in a denomination that did not observe the tradition of Lent, so it wasn't until I was an adult that I started watching the people around me, and I became affiliated with United Methodist Church, which does practice the tradition of Lent. And so I began trying to figure out what this was all about anyway, and I did a lot of research about what Lent is and why Lent is. And one of the things I came to determine from my research is that if you execute it properly, the tradition of Lent, the practice of Lent, of sacrificial giving back to God, can lead to a deeper walk of faith, a healthier lifestyle, both physically and spiritually, and stronger relationships with both God and our fellow humans. And I decided I wanted all of that. So I began to look at the best ways for me to participate in the practice of Lent. Lots of my friends say, well, I'm giving up this and I'm giving up that. And I'm like, okay, all right. Well, you know, I didn't want to just give up Krispy Kreme donuts for the sake of giving up Krispy Kreme donuts. If I was going to make a sacrifice to God, I wanted it to be something that was important to me, meaning that I was telling God, you are more important than this thing that I am willing to give up for 40 days. And I also wanted whatever I gave up, whatever that empty space was in my life or my heart or my activities for 40 days, I wanted to take that and fill it with something that brought me closer to God. So for the first year, I decided to give up an hour of television. And during that time when I would normally be watching my favorite TV show, I would go into a quiet room and I would study my Bible or read devotionals and pray. Well, the next year, I felt God nudging me to say, you know what, I want you to fast an hour of sleep. I said, what? I'm so tired all the time. I can't sacrifice an hour of sleep. He said, just do it. I'll make it work for you. I promise. So I did. And he did. And so I would get up an hour earlier than usual in the morning, and I usually got up pretty early anyway. And I would spend that time in Bible study and in prayer and reflection. And it was very, very deepening for my faith. Well, the next year I took it a little bit further, and I decided that for the 40 days of Lent, every day, I would try to find a sanctuary, a chapel, a church, some place of peace, even if it were a hospital chapel, to sit for 1 hour a day and again, read my Bible studies, but also to journal about the things that came to me during that hour of time. And I really believe that God was speaking to me through his son Jesus during those 40 hours that I would spend in a sanctuary type setting. And actually I've done that every year since, except for last year whenever COVID came in and we were all in quarantine. And it's going to be a little harder to do that this year with so many of my go-to chapels and churches closed still because of quarantine and or damage from Hurricane Sally last fall, but I'll make it happen. So back to what I decided to give up. Again, I was trying to think of the thing that I valued the most and still do, and that is my time. And, you know, during the era of COVID, I really don't have time to give up. You know, I'm trying to run a business out of my house, meeting with clients I really can't get together with face to face. I'm writing several hours a day trying to meet deadlines. I'm videotaping these messages. I'm preparing Sunday school classes. I'm trying to learn technology to help me jump the COVID hurdles. I simply don't have time to give up. So what that means is that's the one thing I absolutely have to give up for God. And that's what I intend to do. And we're going to talk about that for the next 40 days. And I hope that even if you don't participate in the tradition of Lent, that you will prayerfully and carefully consider sacrificing, if nothing else, a little bit of time every day leading up to the celebration of Easter and giving that time back to God in some fashion. Tomorrow, I want to talk to you a little bit about the different kinds of fasts or sacrifices that we can make. It's not all about fasting food. There are many things that we can give up and give back to God, and in turn be filled with the goodness that only God can give. You guys have a great Monday, and I'll see you in the morning.